All right, nerds. We are back for another reaction video. This is good old CJ McCreary just doesn't know when to stop, and part of me is totally okay with that. So yeah, Immortal Disfigurement has put out a new song, a new video, potentially a new lineup if what we have heard from the news is to be believed. And yeah, we're gonna do all of that, but first we're gonna do this. Okay, so I guess before we get too deep into this, I should clear out the credentials. Who the hell am I? I am a big music nerd. I have been performing music in front of crowds of people since I was a very small child. As far as and I'm a 40-year-old man these days, so. As far as like professionally doing this, though, I've been in a band getting paid to do music since I was about 15 years old. So it's about 25 years there. As far as production, I went to school for it. That's the only college education I have is audio production. And I have produced a number of local bands. I've produced my bands and so on and so forth. That's been going on for about 15 years, a little over 15 years. And I guess about 20 years now. Oh, good Lord, I'm old. And then as far as like video production stuff is concerned, I have been doing that professionally for a little over 10 years. So we are going to get into all of that. We're going to talk over the music. If you want to go listen to the original song, please do so. I do encourage you to do so. The links for that will be down in the description. That is not, however, what we are here to do. We are here to react and analyze and review and discuss quality and things of that nature. So don't get mad when I talk a lot, because I talk a lot, hence having a YouTube channel. So also, before we get too deep into this, where's my overlay? Dubby is our sponsor for the episode, for the channel. They are our channel partner is the way they prefer the vocabulary to be used. So go check out dubby.gg. Type in code Generally Nerdy for 10% off of your checkout. Or you can follow the link in the description, whichever way. I think you still need to use code Generally Nerdy at checkout to get that 10%, but you get 10% off of your whole purchase when you use that code at checkout. Also, sponsored by myself, we're doing merch. The April Nerd sale will be coming to an end as of by the time this video is up. So unfortunately, you have missed that, but there is still quality merch up at the Generally Nerdy stores, both of which are linked down in the description. Specifically, you're looking at the spring store is the new marketing that they're putting out, the new label that they have on themselves. No longer Teespring, it is now just Spring. Those guys rock for giving you the options to make some amazing merch. So go check out the merch stores, again linked in the description. So all of that being said, let's talk about the history with the band, because I could not. I guess just it was a very cursory look, but I could not find a proper like bio for the band. But we've been covering their existence for a while on the news show, so we do know quite a bit. And then there is a bit of a history with the band as far as like listening to the music and things. So this is not the first time we have reacted to Immortal Disfigurement. This is not the first time we've reacted to something with CJ McCreary. CJ McCreary, for those that don't know, formerly the vocalist before Will Ramos for Lorna Shore. He was the second vocalist for Lorna Shore. The other guy, I think, sings for Signs of the Swarm now, which is really funny because Will Ramos used to sing for Signs of the Swarm, if I remember correctly. Or no, I'm sorry, CJ used to sing for Signs of the Swarm before he joined Lorna Shore. So where was I going? Oh yeah, CJ. He was kicked out of Lorna Shore shortly before the release of their first full-length studio album. They had released EPs and things previous to that with him on it, but they then recorded their first full-length studio. Some things happened. Socially speaking, CJ got kind of sort of Me Too'd, and I feel like for sure I don't have all of the details for that. The details I do have, though, seem pretty sketch as to why he was canceled, I guess is the best way to put that, because I don't know, hooking up with strippers is probably just not a good idea to begin with, CJ. So maybe you brought it on yourself, yeah. So also, we have come to find out since all of that went down, apparently Mr. CJ McCreary is very difficult to work with, because it seems more like Lorna Shore were just looking for an excuse to be rid of the asshole, because Will is a super genuine, nice guy, and he's doing wonders for Lorna Shore these days, and CJ is really struggling to keep a band together, which brings us to the last time we reacted to some Immortal Disfigurement. Immortal Disfigurement was a different lineup previously, and they recorded four songs, and they released them not as a proper EP. They released a video for one. Then I believe they just released the audio for the rest, because the original guitar player just hated CJ by the time they were done with that studio session and wanted nothing to do with him, so he released the music on his own. I believe those other 3 tracks have no vocals on them. Again, it's been a minute since I've really digested anything outside of their videos, so like the details are a little fuzzy, but yeah, that's kind of where we're at with these guys. So that brings us to expectations for this song/video. I have a hair that's tickling my nose. Expectations. It's CJ McCreary doing deathcore, so it's going to be heavy. The vocals are going to be something else. I still stand by the fact, my contention, I guess, that CJ, while not as varied of a vocalist as Will Ramos, currently singing for Lorna Shore, while not as varied of a vocalist as Will, the things that he does vocally that Will also does, I think CJ does better. I think Will is 10 times the front man that CJ can ever be. I think Will is 10 times the talent, just as an overall statement, that I think CJ will ever be. But the 2 or 3 things that CJ can do, he does extremely well. So I expect the vocals to be really badass. As far as the instrumentation go, being as I'm pretty sure, I haven't watched this, so I don't know this for certain, but I'm pretty sure this is a different lineup. I don't know how completely different, but at the very least, a different drummer and guitar player. I don't know what the situation was, the bass player. At the very, very least, that is going to be a new set of players. So I don't know how that's going to translate into the music. I do expect it to still be very brutal. I do expect them to still be on the blackened side of deathcore, because that's where CJ cut his teeth. That's what the last Immortal Disfigurement set of tracks were. So I can only imagine he's going to continue the style. As far as the video, very likely just going to be some sort of artsy performance video, because again, that's kind of the track record we've got here. Outside of that, I don't think there's anything else. So maybe we should just get to the damn thing, shall we? So here we go. Immortal Disfigurement. The name of the track is something. Where the hell is it? Gospel of Annihilation is the name of the track. So that's where we are at. Let's see what the first little bit has to do. Well, all right. Starting things off with some ridiculous gutturals. This, I think, is where CJ's vocals really shine through. I think he has one of the best and most clear guttural deliveries of any deathcore vocalist. Alex Terrible has also insanely good gutturals. I think Alex is probably the only deathcore vocalist that outdoes CJ as far as gutturals are concerned. But I really feel like they're neck and neck in a lot of ways. Also, we're starting the song off with the breakdown because because everything needs to be a breakdown off, right? That's just the way the deathcore scene apparently is these days, which I'm kind of here for, because that's some of my favorite stuff, is a really, really good breakdown, especially live and especially when you're in the pit. So that is definitely a new drummer. The previous drummer was a very skinny little black kid, so that is definitely a new drummer. I'm pretty sure that's a new guitar player. Wow, okay, so I know we're stopping a lot more than usual, and apparently I'm really scatterbrained right now, but there's a lot of things to talk about, guys. So, something that you don't see a lot of in deathcore music is, and when you do, it works out usually fairly well, as far as I've seen, is the bass. Rock bass syndrome runs deep in deathcore music, because just the extreme style of delivery doesn't leave a whole lot of sonic space in the bottom end. It leaves some, and the better bass players, like the dude who plays for Job for a Cowboy and also King, same guy, just that guy can freaking shred, and it's amazing to put him into a band with two other guitar players who are also shredding, and just to see them like weave around each other is pretty awesome. This dude isn't exactly shredding, but he's also not just playing the bottom end route. It sounds like he's still kind of playing, like he's living on Route 5, like every bass player since the dawn of time kind of does. So he's playing the something along those lines. Something in there. I don't know exactly what key they're in or anything like that, but that's effectively, instead of just with the chords that the guitar player is playing, he's at least trying to hit something for a little bit more color, a little bit more flavor. I freaking dig it. This is definitely, so one thing that bugs me about metal music in general, as far as production goes, is if you look on screen right now, I don't have my thing open, do I? Oh, I do. Oh, I totally do. Okay, so if you look on screen right now, you have 1, 2, 3. Where's his face? 3, somewhere around there. And then the drummer's back here behind CJ. 4 musicians on screen, right? 4 musicians. So those 4 musicians cannot possibly play 5 instruments. But if we go back just ever so briefly and play this. We hear 5 instruments, meaning there are 2 separate guitar parts, not just separate guitar tracks, because I'm sure there's probably like 10 different guitar tracks, because that's the way modern metal is tracked. But we have 2 separate guitar parts, so each of those guitar parts probably has somewhere in the neighborhood of like 5 to 8 different tracks. Again, because that's the way modern metal is recorded. So you have him playing what he's something akin to what the bass player is playing. That's the rhythm track, and then you have something that's probably a little bit more intricate, because we are in the blackened side of the deathcores, and that is the quote-unquote lead track. But they only have 1 guitar player, which means in order to recreate this live, they need one of 2 things. 1, they need to hire a touring guitar player, which, is what it is. Or 2, they need to play to a track, which is, in the eyes of most, cheating. So, I don't know. It's just something that's always bugged me. Pantera did it on their first record. I don't believe they did it past that, but they definitely did it on Cowboys from Hell. And it's just something that's always kind of peeved me a little bit, because I don't understand the desire to create a tracking experience that only exists in the studio, when the majority of how people are going to appreciate your music is live. So you can't recreate. I can understand changing parts. You play it differently in the studio than when you play it live. Like that's cool. It keeps your live experience fresh and keeps people wanting to come back to see how you change it every time. Totally understandable. But like to add elements in the studio that then require you to do some sort of cheating live. Again, I'm using the word cheating a little loosely here, but it just always has kind of stuck in my craw. Anyway, I'm rambling. Let's continue with the song because we've got a lot of song to cover. There you really hear that lead part separate from the rhythm part. It almost sounds like that bass player is playing chords. Like, I mean, it's rudimentary chords, so probably dyads instead of triads, because a chord technically is 3 different notes. You have the root, the third, and the fifth. And so a dyad is usually just the root and the fifth, or the root and the third. Or it could be the third and the fifth, and in which case we're getting far too deep into music theory at that point. But for the purposes of the video, anyway. So it kind of sounds like he's using the fifth and the octave potentially as a dyad for emphasis. We've got like the chuggy chuggies on the root, even though he's playing like super high up. It's still like in this rough. I mean, he's probably far lower than I am because they're probably tuned to like G or something ridiculous, but he's chugging on the root and then using the dyad of the fifth and the octave, which is the one, as emphasis, and I'm kind of digging that. And we're varying up the vocals for this one too. This new lineup, I'm digging this. Maybe CJ learned his lesson and has become easier to work with, or maybe he's hired musicians this time who are just accepting the fact that they're hired guns and this is CJ's baby. But like, it's not exactly a melody line. It's a little bit of a melody, but we're still using that vocal fry that kind of is more percussive than much else. But there's some other notes inside that vocal. That's cool. Another breakdown. Did he really just try an alligator growl? Is that a thing that just happened? Like, I know Alex Terrible can do that, and like now everybody wants to try and do some sort of crazy animal noises. I guess Will started that with the Tasmanian devil snarls or whatever the hell he did on that track. But like, and then Alex Terrible kind of was like, well, yeah, well, I can go lower, and did the alligator growl on, I don't remember which track that was on. But like, I feel like that's inside of their own realm. Even though like you can hear other vocalists in the style do something akin to the Tasmanian devil snarls. Will kind of took it to another level. CJ though Is he trying to do like a horror noise, like The Grudge or like a creaky door or something? Because like that's a little bit more up his alley, but I don't know if that's exactly what was pulled off here. So, or if that's even what he was trying to do. It kind of seems like he was trying to like, oh yeah, I can alligator growl too. I'm pretty sure that is a new bass player as well. Wow, normally we would be coming to an end after a bridge like that, but this is like just over halfway through at this point. And there's the goblin vocal, which again, he's very, very good at. That's a really interesting vocal recording. So, a little behind the scenes magic of how metal vocals are recorded, especially modern metal vocals, is the checking the time. Okay, it is that they double up the vocals a lot. Usually that's to make them thicker. Usually that's for stereo panning purposes. There's a number of reasons, but oftentimes you'll double up a vocal recording for a single part of a song, and it will you'll have one as a whisper delivering the vocal, or you'll have one as a scream, and then you mix those two together, or you'll do two different screams, or you'll do a scream and a melody line. Slipknot, the kind of the coolest, or the most intriguing, I don't know, one of the more interesting things early in my audio mixing career that I heard when I was trying to replicate is Slipknot did this, and Killswitch Engage actually did this too, is taking those two different vocals. You have the melody vocal, you have the screamed vocal, and the studio recording, the scream is the dominant vocal that you hear, and then on the radio edit of the song, the melodic vocal is the dominant vocal that you hear in order to soften it for wider audiences is the thinking. And so it's just an interesting thing to play with those dynamics. This is two different screams, effectively. You have a goblin scream and his gutturals, and just the combination of those two is really cool sounding. I really dig it. And another breakdown. And that brings us to the end. So there's a lot there, I think. There's 3 different breakdowns here, guys. Like that's big. That's why this song is so long, I think, is because the length of the song is directly attributed to the amount of breakdowns. A lot of most modern deathcore will have 2. I not very common is it that you see a 3rd breakdown. So yeah, super interesting. All right, so where the hell does that leave us? What is the final verdict? I laid this out at the beginning. I fully expected this to be fairly brutal. There was a couple of curveballs in here, specifically that extra vocal from the bass player, apparently, that starts adding in some melody into your deathcore. I know there's a lot of deathcore pure dudes out there who are not going to be happy with this, because that's why they didn't like Whitechapel for so long, because I can't think of Whitechapel dude's name, the vocalist. He was singing with too much melody. There's no melody in my deathcore. And then they put out their new record, and everybody went, "Oh yeah, that's right. These guys are amazing." Anyway, as far as Immortal Disfigurement is concerned, it's good. Like, it's good. He found himself, Mr. C.J. McCreary, found himself a new lineup of very talented musicians who I think have elevated his sound even beyond what he was doing with Lorna Shore, because Lorna Shore has this pigeonholed idea of what deathcore vocals should be, and I think that this is showing that CJ is willing to step outside of that. While he's not the one delivering those vocals himself, it is still, like I said, his baby, this band. So I think that's really interesting, and it shows growth, which maybe means that he's growing as a person. I don't know how much weight we can put on that, but maybe. So yeah, absolutely recommend. This was a fun time. I dig it. I dig it a lot. Don't forget to go check out the merch store. Get yourself some nerd merch, because that is what you can do to help support the channel. Also, don't forget to subscribe and do the things. I know I have a subscribe in here somewhere. Right there. Yeah, subscribe and do the things and all that stuff. I don't remember how to stop it though. Oh no, stop. This one? Yeah, there we go. So, yeah, go do all this stuff. Don't forget to subscribe. I appreciate you guys for sticking around for this one, and hopefully there will be more soon. I got to go to the day job though. So, before we head out, always remember that if it's general and nerdy, it's probably here, and I like doing reactions.